Have you ever paused and asked yourself why some lives seem larger than reality itself? Why certain people draw attention, fascination, and envy with every glance, every word, every move? Why we are mesmerized by lives that on the surface appear flawless, and yet beneath the shine conceal secrets we could never imagine? Evelyn Hugo is one of those lives, a woman who commanded stages, cameras, and hearts, a woman who knew the power of perception and the art of reinvention. But the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo invites us to look deeper, not at the glamorous exterior, but at the hidden choices, the silent sacrifices, the secret pains that shaped her. Taylor Jenkins Reid does not merely tell a story of fame, she writes about the human condition, the tension between ambition and love, between identity and expectation, between authenticity and survival. And as you listen, you may recognize pieces of yourself in Evelyn. The desires you hide, the compromises you make, the ambition that drives you, and the love you both crave and fear. As Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Evelyn's life is both light and shadow, and it is in that interplay that we find the profound truths of living, loving, and choosing intentionally. Session 1. The Woman Behind the Legend. Evelyn Hugo is an icon, but beneath the glittering image lies a woman of complexity, courage, and calculated choices. Born in Hell's Kitchen, Evelyn understands early that the world will try to define her. If she wants to rise, she must craft her own identity. Every glance, every word, every gesture is intentional. She learns early that the world rewards those who can perform the self they want others to see. Yet even in this performance, Evelyn is profoundly human. She experiences vulnerability, desire, fear, and longing, feelings that are universal even for those who live under the public's gaze. Her story is a meditation on agency, choosing who we become despite the pressures, expectations, and limitations imposed by society. Her 7 husbands serve as milestones, mirrors, and lessons. Each relationship teaches her something about power, love, ambition, and the cost of desire. Evelyn is strategic, yet she is also shaped by emotion. The tension between these forces, the calculated and the heartfelt, defines her life. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Evelyn's strength is in her clarity, her ability to navigate a world that wants to limit her, and in her willingness to claim her narrative regardless of consequence. Session 2. Love, Ambition, and the Many Faces of Desire. Evelyn's love life is not simple. Each husband represents a different facet of her desire, a different lesson in power and vulnerability. Some are companions, others tools, some true love, others convenience. Her story asks the listener to reflect. How far would you go to achieve your dreams? How much of your heart would you risk or sacrifice? Love is never simple, particularly when ambition pulls in conflicting directions. Evelyn shows us that desire can be both liberating and binding. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Evelyn's why is ambition, autonomy, and truth. Her how, the marriages, alliances, and risks, is her navigation of a world that rarely accommodates unapologetic women. Her choices are strategic, yet they never fully erase her vulnerability or humanity. Through Evelyn, we see the tension between the self we present to the world and the self we know in our private moments.
This tension is not shameful, it is human, and it resonates with anyone who has ever struggled to reconcile desire, ambition, and authenticity. Session 3: Secrets, Scandal, and the Weight of Choice. Evelyn's life is built on secrets. Every marriage, every decision, every public smile is a carefully curated performance. These secrets are her armor, but they are also her burden. They protect her, but they isolate her. They allow survival, but at the cost of intimacy. We all carry secrets, though ours are smaller in scale. Secrets conceal desire, mistakes, vulnerabilities. Evelyn's choices amplify this dynamic, but they also make it universal. How often do we hide pieces of ourselves to protect what matters or to survive a world that judges us? Seneca reminds us, the mind that is anxious about the future is miserable. Evelyn's life illustrates the tension of knowing that exposure is inevitable, yet being determined to live fully despite it. The cost of secrecy is isolation, but the mastery comes from knowing which truths to reveal and which to guard. Her story asks us to reflect. Which parts of yourself do you hide and why? Which secrets protect you and which imprison you? The weight of hidden truths shape our choices, our loves, and our sense of self, and Evelyn teaches us to navigate this weight with grace and intention. Session 4: Identity and the Masks We Wear. Evelyn Hugo's life is a continuous negotiation between who she is, who she must appear to be, and who the world wants her to be. She wears masks, crafts identities, and learns to move through social expectation with precision. Yet even as she performs, the essence of Evelyn, her ambition, her desires, her principles, remains intact. She is defined not by what the world believes, but by the clarity she has about herself. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Evelyn demonstrates that wisdom is not just awareness of the self, but the courage to act in alignment with it. Her husbands serve as mirrors of her identity, each reflecting different aspects of her ambition, her love, her vulnerabilities, and her capacity for growth. By observing our own masks in life, we can understand where we conform to expectations and where we act from authenticity. Evelyn's life challenges us to examine our own patterns and ask, are we living deliberately or performing to survive?
Session 5: Fame, Power, and the Cost of Being Seen. Being seen is both a gift and a burden. Evelyn's fame allows her influence, admiration, and power, but it also makes her life a spectacle. Every decision, every marriage, every betrayal, every triumph is scrutinized. Viktor Frankl reminds us, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Evelyn's challenge is to navigate visibility without surrendering her inner life. Fame amplifies both freedom and constraint, showing that visibility always comes with a cost. Evelyn teaches that authenticity requires courage. To live fully under the gaze of the world, one must hold inner clarity. She reminds us that ambition and visibility can coexist with integrity, but only when we are conscious of the choices we make and the lives we touch. Session 6: Reflection on Love, Ambition, and Regret. The story of Evelyn Hugo is, at its heart, a meditation on choice, consequence, and reflection. Each marriage, each romantic entanglement, each ambition pursued brings rewards and costs. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." Evelyn awakens by understanding her own heart, her desires, regrets, and triumphs, and by facing the life she intentionally built. Her story asks the listener, where have you compromised authenticity for ambition? Where have you pursued desire without regard for consequence? And, importantly, where can courage, reflection, and honesty guide you to live more fully? Evelyn's life is not just entertainment, it is a mirror. It forces us to confront the complexity of ambition and love, and it challenges us to reconcile both in our own lives. Session 7. Legacy, Truth, and the Power of Storytelling. Evelyn Hugo claims her story not through fame alone, but through the narrative she chooses to share. By recounting her life to Monique, she exerts control over her legacy, shaping how she will be remembered. Nietzsche reminds us, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Evelyn's why, the pursuit of love on her own terms, the unflinching embrace of ambition, and the desire to remain authentic, guides the how. Her marriages, her risks, her triumphs, and her choices in a world that judges women harshly. Evelyn's story teaches us that narrative is agency. We all have the power to define our own stories, to decide which truths to share and which to hold sacred. In doing so, we claim freedom, integrity, and the ability to live deliberately. Session 8. Closing Reflection. Living with Intention. As this audio concludes, take a deep breath and reflect. Think of Evelyn Hugo, not the public persona, not the glittering fame, not the scandals, but the complexity, courage, and authenticity of her choices. Consider your own life. Where do you wear masks to satisfy others? Where have ambition and desire pulled you in conflicting directions? Where are the secrets you carry, and what do they cost you? The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo leaves us with one profound truth. To live fully, you must embrace your choices, understand your motivations, and claim your narrative. Reflection, courage, and honesty are the anchors that allow us to navigate ambition, love, and desire without losing ourselves. Evelyn Hugo teaches us that life is not only about the choices we make, but how we understand, reconcile, and claim them. To live deliberately is to look inward, to reflect, and to act with intention. The story of Evelyn is a mirror, and the question it leaves us with is simple yet profound. Who are you when no one is watching?